So starting with the Oaks Aidan and Save the Last Dance, she was obviously very impressive and surprised most of us, probably including yourself. Immediately after the race, I know it was an Oaks trial, but do you immediately think, that could be our Oaks horse, that could be an Oaks winner?
I think we had to be very impressed, Frankie, when we saw what she did and the way she did it. Obviously, she went there as treating it as a trial, and obviously we thought she'd be more forward in the race, but the pace was very fast. So she probably had to learn a lot very quickly, which was good. The ground was on the soft side, so we weren't worried about that because it was going to be safe. But I suppose we learned a lot more about her than we would have thought we would have learned, if you know what I mean.
What about Ryan's initial thoughts? I know that he seemed very pleased, and I even spoke to John Gosden about the Oaks picture last week, and he said he got the plane with Ryan, and Ryan thought he had a fairly strong hand with Save the Last Dance. What were his initial thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think he was very impressed, obviously, and I suppose what Ryan said was that she ran straight through the line was very unusual because they did go a good pace in that ground. I suppose that was what he was most impressed. But I think he was very happy with her, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And what does she show at home? Does she, is she as good at home?
Yeah, no, she's very offhanded. She doesn't need a lot of work because she's naturally very fit. But everything she has done, she has always done very nice and very easy, and everyone has ridden her have always loved her. So she's just one of those natural fillies, really.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're under the impression that she's raced on testing conditions, but just because of the way the season's unfolded, and you don't have any ground concerns, and there may be even a chance that she might improve for slightly better ground.
Yeah, obviously there is, Frankie, but obviously she does handle soft ground, because if she didn't, she wouldn't be doing what she has done on it. Obviously we didn't think that she was a soft ground filly by any means, but listen, she has taken it in her stride, and like, they don't do those kind of things unless they do handle it. So it will be very interesting when she does run on totally different grounds.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the Derby picture, the Betfred Derby, Augusta Rodin, he's a bit of a muddle almost for us as pundits or punters, because we know how impressive he was at 2. We haven't seen him to full effect, not by his own doing, but just the way the race unfolded, as you mentioned, at Newmarket. What can you tell us about how he's developed from his 2-year-old career to where he's at now?
Yeah, no, he's good. He was always very natural, slick horse. He's not a big, heavy horse. He's very light on his feet. He's very nimble. I remember when Ryan rode him as a 2-year-old in February, he loved him, and his action was what he loved. He's very athletic. That's all still there. His personality, he's relaxed. He always looked like a horse would love going middle distances, and obviously that's what he's bred to be. So obviously it was a bit of a risk running him in the Guineas, but we felt it was worth taking the risk. And no, he always looked like a horse that would love this kind of a distance on this kind of ground, really.
Mm-hmm. So he still remains top of the pecking order at home in his work.
He always was very different, Frankie, in everything he's always done, and like, we've been very happy with him since,
Mm-hmm. And talking trip and ground, he's obviously raced only up to the mile trip. You're confident that he will stay?
You'd imagine he would. Like, obviously you're never sure until you do it, but you'd imagine good ground is really what he wants. We were nearly not running him in the Racing Post Trophy on soft grounds, but he got away with it that day because I suppose it was a solid, even pace. It wasn't a muddly race. But there's no doubt like good ground or better will suit him better, and there's probably no doubt middle distance have to suit him better.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the Betfred Derby picture as a whole, is there another horse in the race that maybe caught your attention most in the Derby trials?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of horses there, and that's the way it is always for the trials. Like, there's always horses that are very impressive in their trials. And it's only when you put them together you find out, and that's what hopefully is going to happen. Put them together, all the best horses, and I think that's the mystique, I suppose you could say, about racing. And when all the best horses come together, and why is going to happen, because nobody really knows until the pace is on. You're going the distance on the track, and Epsom will test them everywhere, inside out. If the race is delayed, it'll test them more. Whatever, So it's going to be proper test, and that's what we all want to see. And who's going to deal with it all, and who's going to come out of it, and who's going to perform on the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks a real competitive race that, like you said, we're all hoping for. We wish you the best of luck.